Sometimes in the world, you find a product that the name says one thing, but when you look at it, it somehow doesn't line up. And somehow it seems very, very different to what you're expecting. And that is something like this car right here. This is the Mini Countryman. It's got the name, it's got the styling cues, it's got the silhouette and the shape of a Mini, except it's so big. How can they actually call this a Mini? You even come round and you look at one of the features of Minis in the past was absolutely no boot space. And yet look here, you get a very good sized boot. And with your flap, with your folding down seats, you can even adjust the reach of the rear seats and move them forward slightly to make the boot even bigger. So how do they get away with calling this a Mini? To me, it's a very, very good question. It does have features like the auto close on the boot lid, which again makes a difference. You get the standard roof rails and you get really neat looking mag wheels, all on the Countryman version. Being the Countryman, this is the Cooper Countryman, so it comes with a 3-cylinder 1.5 turbo engine putting out 100 kilowatts. Sounds like quite a bit of power, but then again, for such a big car, is this enough power? Again, is this living up to the Mini legend? We're going to take a look on the inside and see what you think about that. Now we're inside the Mini Countryman. Again, if you look at the dashboard, you look at the steering, you look at the driving position, this is standard Mini. Very nice, very useful, and very, very well spec'd overall. You can see something very interesting on this car is when I pull this little lever over here to adjust the height of the steering wheel, note that the instruments move with it, move up and down with the steering wheel. So you don't have that old story and old issue of the steering wheel cutting your instruments. I thought that was quite a neat feature as well on this car. Just something a little bit different maybe. You've got, of course, your multifunction steering wheel, and these two buttons over here are your adaptive cruise control. Again, this is high tech in what could be a smaller or larger car. It doesn't matter. And you can set the distance, of course, the following distance from a car in front. It's also got active braking. So if you do get too close to the car in front of you, you get that warning coming up very clearly, very quickly, that you're getting too close and it will interfere on your behalf if you want. Another Mini standard, of course, is this very interesting round touch screen over here. With the BMW family now system of exactly how it all works. And you go to vehicle information, for example, and this is something to the trip computer. And I've been driving the car for a good few days, done just over 300 kilometers, and you can see we've averaged 7.9 liters per 100 during our time with the car. Now that may not sound absolutely exceptional, but then again, you've got to understand, I have certainly been enjoying this car. You've got Mini connected, you've got phone, of course, you've got Office, which is all your connectivity that is built in, and all these features, of course, add to everything on the vehicle. And of course, you do have standard navigation as well on the vehicle. Very interesting, very useful, very neat system. You come down over here on the center dash, and you've got your standard dual zone climate control. You've got all your buttons for seat warmers, even aircon, and down here, of course, you can switch out the stop start, and here's your hooligan button if you want it to switch out the DSC system as well. And just because it's a Mini, the toggle switch for your stop start system. On this one we're driving now, you get a 6-speed automatic transmission. Very smooth in all forms and all uses. I found the transmission very smooth, very easy. But over here is something that I almost missed when I first started looking at the car, because it's a very interesting system. At the moment it's in standard mode, but if I move it into sport mode, take a look what goes on over there. And it tells you sport mode, but I love the little legend, maximum go-kart feel. And if you take it back into normal mode, it tells you mid-mode, typical Mini driving fun, or the third mode, which is eco mode or green mode, and it says low consumption driving fun. Just a little quirk, I'd almost call it, from Mini, of how they describe the multi-mode transmission. But again, being part of the BMW family, what I like about this is the fact that when you change the modes on the transmission, it changes the vehicle. It changes the engine mapping. It changes the exhaust note. Let me tell you, in sport, and that's why my consumption probably was a bit higher on this vehicle, because I was playing in sport mode a lot of the time, and you get that little roar from the engine, and you get that reaction, that whole attitude, and the car, the steering tightens up a little bit. You can see nice feel to the steering wheel, nice big chunky steering wheel in your hands here as well, and just overall you know you're in sport mode. And for a little 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbo, let me tell you, I thought a big vehicle like this would have an issue with power and that I'd be missing the Cooper S version. Not a chance. I really enjoyed this one. This car is loaded with extras. You've got your actually dual sunroofs over here, the front one opening, and again the toggle switches up here for lights and for the sunroof. So you operate simply from there, and you simply press that button, and look at that, that's how the sunroof opens. Easy as that, and just the very neat, quirky Mini touch. Let's take a look now at the back seat, because believe it or not, as a Mini, this is of course a family vehicle. So let's check out the back. Moving at the back seat of the Mini Countryman, again, look at this legroom and tell me, how can they call this car a Mini? I don't quite get it, but yet it's a Mini. I'm confused, quite honestly, but it's got tons of legroom. It's got space for 3 in the back seat. You've got the second opening glass roof area that you simply slide that across if you want shade. It doesn't open as such, but you've certainly got the light effect from it. And you've got everything like that. You can even, as I mentioned earlier, slide the seat forward individually 2/3, 1/3, and you can increase boot space like that as well if you wish to. Now, of course, we come to something that is crucial, and that is money and price. You can see everywhere on this vehicle the interesting touches, the rounded door handles, the rounded effects throughout the car on the dashboard. Everywhere you look, they've got the round effect, which of course is a Mini trait, and that is what they work on. And you can just see quality, the leather upholstery, everything on the car smells of quality. But quality comes at a price. And remembering that the rebirth of Mini under BMW, they've taken on some of the BMW ways. And what I mean by that is, this car is actually on the same platform as the BMW X1. And it's a great platform. I've mentioned the handling, I've mentioned the road holding, I've mentioned all of those already. But what they've done is they've also followed BMW in the sense of how you can spec a vehicle. The standard price for a manual version Countryman 1.5 is 422,000 Rand. As I'm driving this particular car, 585,000 Rand. 160,000 Rand's worth of extras. Now, can you justify that? This, as far as I'm concerned, is a heart over head purchase. It is not the other way around that most people buy their cars. Because a Mini is a Mini. I've said it before. You either love it or you hate it. You either want it or you don't want it. The smaller Minis are known as the boutique hatch. Well, this is the boutique SUV stroke crossover. It really is. It's got everything that a Mini has, but just with so much more space about it. So, if you're a Mini lover and a Mini fan, but your family's grown and you need more space, here's an answer for you. If you're into boutique type cars and you want to spec it your way with so many extras that you can have lots of fun on the extras list, here it is. It's the way to go. There are obviously competitors on the market, but you know what? I don't think it's actually even worth discussing all the competitors for this car, because you either want this or you don't. You're either going to love the Mini or you won't. You get that standard 5-year, 100,000 kilometer service plan included in the deal as well, and that's a peace of mind plan, as everybody knows. It's your choice. For Motor Matters, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you next time.